Welcome to this episode. Africa's contributions to early technological and industrial advancements are profound and far-reaching. From metallurgy and iron production to agricultural innovations, sophisticated engineering, and large-scale construction projects, ancient African societies laid the foundation for many technological practices that influenced human civilization. While Africa is often sidelined in historical narratives of early industrialization, evidence across the continent reveals a long-standing tradition of innovation, resourcefulness, and engineering skill. Africa's mastery of iron and other metallurgical practices is particularly noteworthy. Sites like Leja in Nigeria and the Hausa community in Tanzania have unearthed ancient iron smelting technologies, demonstrating the continent's expertise in metallurgy. The Leja site contains iron slag dating back at least 4,000 years, showing that Africans were adept at creating tools and other iron products many centuries before similar developments took place in parts of Europe and Asia. The Hausa people of Tanzania further advanced iron production with a unique method for creating carbon steel as early as the first millennium BCE. Archaeologist Peter Schmidt discovered that the Hausa achieved temperatures over 1,800 degrees Celsius using preheated air, a method not seen in European practices until much later. Schmidt commented on the ingenuity of Hausa ironworkers. The Hausa smelters of western Tanzania achieved remarkable efficiencies, pioneering steel production using methods that would not be replicated in Europe until the Industrial Revolution. The Nok culture of Nigeria, dating back to 1500 BCE, also excelled in metallurgy and terracotta sculpture. Nok iron smelting techniques helped develop tools that boosted agricultural productivity, contributing to societal growth and trade. The sophistication of Nok ironworking was such that historian Roland Oliver remarked, "The Nok culture's metallurgical practices represent a significant advancement, shaping local economies and social structures." Another striking example of early African industry is found in Sodolo Hills, Botswana. Archaeological evidence suggests that as early as 43,000 years ago, ancient communities were mining hematite for red ochre, used for symbolic purposes, rituals, or rock art. Sodolo Hills is thus one of the world's oldest mining sites, underscoring that Africans were the first humans to recognize and extract valuable minerals. Mining and pigment processing required organizational skills, knowledge of resources, and technical skills in extraction and preparation. Beyond metallurgy and mining, ancient African societies demonstrated agricultural and engineering ingenuity. Agricultural techniques across Africa, such as those employed by the Hausa people in present-day Nigeria, highlight efficient, sustainable practices that increased crop yields and contributed to population stability. The Hausa perfected methods like crop rotation and intercropping, particularly in cultivating millet and sorghum. As Crowther explains, the agricultural practices of the Hausa were not only efficient but also sustainable, ensuring a steady food supply for their communities. In Ethiopia, the monolithic churches of Lalibela reveal an exceptional level of architectural and engineering skill. Carved entirely from rock, these 11 churches were built in the 12th and 13th centuries as a new Jerusalem for Christian Ethiopians. Each structure was hewn from a single stone and features detailed interiors, sophisticated drainage systems, and complex facades. David Philipson, a scholar on Ethiopian history, praised these churches, calling them an unparalleled feat in world architectural history, showing mastery in quarrying, carving, and construction. Further south, Nubian civilizations in present-day Sudan developed advanced irrigation and water management systems along the Nile. In a semi-arid region where water was scarce, Nubian engineers built canals and dams that enabled agriculture and population growth. These water systems supported the Kingdom of Kush, a powerful civilization that rivaled ancient Egypt in influence and wealth. Historian Bruce Williams emphasized that Nubian irrigation and water systems were vital to the success and stability of Nubian civilization, showcasing advanced hydraulic engineering skills. The ancient Swahili city-state of Kilwa, located off the coast of present-day Tanzania, was a thriving center of commerce, maritime trade, and industry, especially between the 11th and 15th centuries. As one of the wealthiest and most influential city-states on the East African coast, Kilwa became a significant point of contact between Africa, the Middle East, Asia, and even parts of Europe. Kilwa's industries were sophisticated and diverse, exemplifying the maritime ingenuity and organizational complexity of pre-colonial African societies. Kilwa's shipbuilding industry was among its most impressive features, allowing the city to dominate the Indian Ocean trade routes. The Swahili people of Kilwa were skilled shipbuilders, constructing dhows, traditional boats that were particularly suited to the Indian Ocean's seasonal monsoon winds. These dhows enabled Kilwa's merchants to trade with distant regions such as India, Persia, Arabia, and Southeast Asia. According to historical sources, the craftsmanship of Kilwa's shipbuilders was highly advanced. They utilized local materials, including hardwoods, coconut fiber for ropes, and resin for waterproofing, all of which showcase their knowledge of engineering and environmental resources. Archaeologist Mark Horton emphasizes, the dhow trade facilitated by Kilwa connected African coastal cities with some of the world's largest civilizations, serving as an ancient model of globalization. In addition to shipbuilding, Kilwa boasted industries such as weaving, textile production, and metalworking. Kilwa's textiles, which were crafted from locally sourced cotton and dyed with natural indigo and other plant-based dyes, were highly prized in trade networks stretching across the Indian Ocean. Scholars have found that these textiles were exchanged for luxury goods, like porcelain, spices, and ivory, suggesting that Kilwa's manufacturing capabilities met the high standards of distant markets. UNESCO's World Heritage Center acknowledges Kilwa's sophisticated economic organization, stating, Kilwa Kisiwani exemplifies the cultural and economic connections fostered by African craftsmanship and seafaring ingenuity. Furthermore, Kilwa's wealth also stemmed from its role in managing and exporting resources such as gold, ivory, and iron ore from the African interior. Gold from the Kingdom of Great Zimbabwe would make its way to Kilwa, where it was then traded across the ocean to distant lands. This complex trade network underscored the region's expertise in logistics, resource management, and international commerce. The economic success and industrial might of Kilwa, alongside the expertise of its artisans and craftsmen, made the city-state a beacon of African maritime power. As Horton describes, Kilwa represented a formidable African industry that, through its intricate web of trade routes and skilled craftsmanship, asserted Africa's pivotal role in global trade long before the arrival of European influence. These examples of ancient Kilwa's industries, shipbuilding, textile production, and resource management serve as a powerful reminder of Africa's pre-colonial achievements in industry, commerce, and technology. They reinforce the broader understanding that Africa was not isolated or technologically deficient. Rather, it was actively involved in a form of industrialization that contributed to regional prosperity and intercontinental connectivity. In Egypt, early copper mining and metallurgy transformed the region's economy and military power. As early as 3000 BCE, Egyptians were mining copper in the Sinai Peninsula, developing tools, weapons, and art. Their understanding of mining, metal extraction, and labor management speaks to a high level of technical expertise. Egyptologist Toby Wilkinson observes, "The Egyptian copper mines reflect a highly developed industry that relied on organization, labor specialization, and advanced technology." The walls of Benin, built between the 13th and 19th centuries in what is now Nigeria, also reflect an exceptional level of engineering and urban planning. These fortifications spanned over 10,000 miles, enclosing the capital of the Edo people and surrounding areas. According to the Guinness Book of Records, 1974, Benin's walls were the world's largest earthworks, carried out prior to the mechanical era, and Fred Pierce of New Scientist noted they were 4 times longer than the Great Wall of China and consumed 100 times more material than the Great Pyramid of Khufu in Egypt. These walls demonstrate the expertise of African engineers in large-scale construction. Agriculture and soap production also reflect Africa's industrial ingenuity. In pre-colonial times, West African communities exported soap to Europe, showing their understanding of chemical processes and trade. The soap-making industry in West Africa, particularly among the Yoruba and other groups, was based on the use of natural resources like palm oil and ash. This process produced a product that became valuable in trade with European nations, contributing to economic stability and social structure in these societies. In ancient Nigeria, early glass-making techniques emerged as another significant achievement. Sites such as Igbo Ukwu have unearthed glass beads and artifacts dating as far back as the 9th century, showcasing the skill and artistry of these early craftsmen. Unlike typical imported items, the glass from Igbo Ukwu was produced using a unique process that combined local sands with various minerals to create a spectrum of colors and textures. This remarkable practice required a nuanced understanding of chemical reactions and high-temperature techniques. Scholar Willett notes, "The glass beads of Igbo Ukwu not only reflect early Nigerian artistry, but also demonstrate sophisticated knowledge of high-temperature chemistry and resource sourcing." Further archaeological discoveries in the ancient Yoruba city of Ile-Ife, Nigeria, have unveiled groundbreaking evidence of early glass production, suggesting that West Africa had independently developed sophisticated glass-making techniques long before European contact. The excavations revealed remnants of glass beads, crucibles, and other manufacturing tools, dating back to as early as the 11th century CE. According to Langton et al., analysis of the chemical composition of the glass found in the Yoruba region indicates unique recipes that are distinct from glass-making traditions in North Africa or the Middle East, underscoring the indigenous development of these techniques. As Langton et al. Note, the glass artifacts reflect an independent technology, suggesting that the Yoruba developed their own techniques and materials for glass production. The production of glass in Ile-Ife was primarily focused on creating beads, which were highly valued as symbols of wealth, status, and spirituality in Yoruba and wider West African culture. Moreover, the sophistication of Yoruba glass-making processes reflects the technological expertise of its artisans. Archaeological evidence indicates the use of high-temperature kilns and complex firing techniques that allowed for the melting and shaping of glass. These skills would have required specialized knowledge in managing heat, materials, and production methods, pointing to an established scientific tradition in the region. Willett, in his research on West African art and archaeology, emphasizes the technical mastery involved in ancient Yoruba glass production. The techniques used in Ile-Ife are a testament to the Yoruba people's ingenuity and their mastery of high-temperature materials long before similar techniques were known in other parts of the world. This glass industry had broader implications for trade, and the economy of ancient Yoruba society. Glass beads from Ile Ife were widely traded across West Africa, becoming an essential part of the trans-Saharan trade networks that linked Inner Africa with North Africa and the Mediterranean. As Robert Shaw et al. Argue, this trade likely contributed to the economic and cultural prominence of Ile Ife as a center of innovation and exchange in the pre-colonial period. The discovery of large-scale ancient Yoruba glass manufacturing shows that they possessed an advanced understanding of materials science and technology, showcasing Africa's rich legacy in industrial craftsmanship. In addition to industrial and technological developments, evidence of Africa's creativity in art and science has been found in sites like Great Zimbabwe and ancient paint factories in South Africa. In a cave near Blombos in South Africa, archaeologists discovered a paint-making kit dating back to an incredible 100,000 years ago, making it the oldest known evidence of pigment processing in the world. The inhabitants of this area used ochre, bone, and charcoal, likely for art or symbolic purposes. This discovery demonstrates that early Africans not only understood natural resources, but also processed them for cultural and possibly industrial purposes, indicating complex social behavior and cognitive abilities. In Zimbabwe, the Great Zimbabwe ruins stand as a powerful example of African architectural prowess. Built around the 11th century, and possibly much earlier, this massive stone complex features intricate walls, towers, and enclosures made without mortar. These structures highlight the skills of the Shona people in resource management and construction. Philipson, 2005, asserts that Great Zimbabwe serves as a powerful symbol of pre-colonial African civilization, highlighting the engineering and organizational capabilities of its inhabitants. Collectively, these achievements underscore Africa's long-standing and diverse contributions to human development. Africa's early industrialization was characterized by innovation, advanced knowledge of materials, and an organized approach to complex projects. This history demonstrates Africa's fundamental role in global technological advancements, challenging the narrative that industrialization began solely with the European Industrial Revolution. As research continues to uncover Africa's ancient technologies, it becomes clear that the continent's legacy of innovation profoundly shaped civilization as we know it. Africa's vast contributions to technology, trade, engineering, and agriculture reflect a rich tradition of ingenuity and resilience. From iron smelting and mining to architecture and complex urban planning, ancient African societies pioneered advancements that continue to inspire modern understanding of civilization and technological progress. Thanks for watching this episode. Do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And look out for the next one on Africa's great civilizations.